Congressman George Santos surrendered to federal authorities Wednesday morning after he was indicted for 13 different counts of financial crimes. The indictment basically spells out 3 different schemes that Santos allegedly pulled off on people. The first is that he allegedly defrauded some of his own political supporters, telling them that tens of thousands of dollars that they gave that they thought would help his campaign was actually spent instead on things like designer clothes, paying his debts, and he gave some of the money to his friends. Another scheme is they say he illegally collected unemployment payments, unemployment benefits from New York State for about a year. And these were particular COVID-era benefits at a time when there was bigger unemployment payments to be had. And basically he kept getting paid about more than $500 a week when officials say, in fact, he wasn't unemployed, he had a job. And he had a pretty good job. The third scheme was about alleged lies he told on his congressional financial disclosure forms. People who run for Congress have to fill out these forms that describe what their finances are. And they list a long number of things that he claimed about his finances, all of which the government says wasn't true. How much money he had in the bank, how much money he earned, and the indictment charges that all those claims were lies. So the indictment answers one big question that has been hanging over George Santos since this scandal sort of burst into both criminal investigation and a national punchline. We've known for some time that George Santos lied, exaggerated, made up stuff on a whole range of things, including just his family, what he did, what sport he played in college. What has not been clear until today is that there is in fact an underlying factual problem, according to prosecutors, with his finances and with his campaign money. Those things are crimes if they're proven true. A lot of the lies that George Santos has been caught in so far were not crimes, they were just falsehoods. What happens oftentimes when members of Congress are charged with crimes is their place in Congress becomes part of the negotiation. In past cases, lawmakers often resign only after they've struck a deal with prosecutors in some sort of guilty plea arrangement. Now, obviously, we don't know yet if George Santos will strike a deal, but it wouldn't be unusual for his seat in Congress to become part of that calculation. One thing to keep in mind is that the government has only been looking at George Santos for a number of months. These 13 charges may not be the last charges that are filed against him. The other thing I think to look for is he is a voting member of Congress in a very, very, very slim majority. Republicans as a group in the House basically still need his vote. So as much as I think he has been ostracized and will be further ostracized by this indictment, I think there's also a possibility, one of the things I'm looking to see is he still an important vote within Congress? Because he may be.